Hey everyone, and welcome back to another match for the Overwatch Contenders Trials. Sorry, we've got an exciting one for you. Northern Lights versus One.PoinT. Northern Lights on the brink of extinction here. They need to win, and they need to win with, well, they have to win with 3 maps. So they have to win, basically, but they can 4-0, obviously. Going up against One.PoinT, who are currently 1 and 2. I'm joined on the desk again by Panda and Rook. Hey guys, hope you guys got a chance to stretch your legs a little bit because we're going to be in for the long haul here. We're going to go ahead, get started. But before we do, let me tell you a little bit about Broadcast.gg. Broadcast.gg is an amazing resource to help you grow as a broadcaster, whether you're a caster, analyst, host. They've got resources for you. Follow the channel. Follow us on Twitter, Broadcast.gg, spell out .dot, and click on the panels below to join the Discord. All right, let's go ahead. One.PoinT, Northern Lights. Whew. All right, Panda, I'm going to let you go first on this one. Tell me about One.PoinT. What do I need to know about this team?
One.PoinT is actually my favorite team to watch all across EU region Overwatch. Malzauza has been ripping and tearing as Winston since he has been on, I believe it was Team Portugal, if I'm not mistaken. One thing to also note about One.PoinT itself is that they are, again, a very heavy tank team. Brucin, to join in on the side of the tank meta that we are aligned with, is a very strong Zarya. I've also seen strong diva play coming out of that competitive player in particular. So look for that front line, KT, to create a lot of space for the DPS to do exactly what they do in their experience and quite literally pop off.
And Rook, what about Northern Lights? What do we need to know about this squad?
Well, they're the squad that actually won Open Division playoffs. They went 10-0 through Open Division main part, and then their entire roster took a revamp. And the only 2 remaining members from the original Northern Lights are Zekor and Riverboat, and they're struggling really to find things back. A lot of their players, who were very good, obviously, received really nice offers from some more well-known and slightly higher-ranked teams, and as a result, the team has been struggling a little bit. But Riverboat is a player I've been watching, obviously, for a while now, and he is always great fun to watch. Northern Lights, I want to see them bounce back, and against One.PoinT, who are 1 and 2, there is an opportunity for them to do it.
All right, I love it. Before we get into this first match on Ilios, I have to make you put your money where your mouth is. Who's walking away with a W here today, Rook? I'm going to let you, because you're 0 for 1 now today.
I am.
So you get first say.
I mean, Panda obviously knows very much what to do. I was super surprised with the outcome of the last match. Definitely go watch that back if you missed it on the VODs. I have to go with, obviously, I'm going to go with Northern Lights. I do like them as a team. I think they have some good players. Riverboat has always impressed me, but they might struggle. They've definitely got to bring their A game to beat One.PoinT here.
Panda, what about you? Really quick.
One.PoinT is going to take this one victory here. They're going to move up, and they need to look good in this next upcoming series. I'm sticking to Frost. I'm sticking with One.PoinT. They're going to take it all.
All right, well, we've got Boopasaurus and Ham Tornado here. New casting duo, all fresh. I hear you got the naps in. You're ready to go. Go ahead, guys, and thanks so much. Go ahead, take it away.
Thanks, KT. We're going to go straight into this game. We are all napped up and ready to go. 24 seconds to tell us about the teams. Ham, take it away.
Indeed, Reno. So in the blue corner, we have Northern Lights. Now, this is a team who took the title in Open Division, as our lovely desk said, but now with the roster revamps, they're struggling 1-2. One.PoinT, though, they don't just have 1 point to their name. They're doing not bad at all. So Northern Lights, they have yet to take a single series, but Lighthouse may just be that map for them. Very brawl heavy as they roll out here with a heavy tank lineup.
Yep, and just to set the stakes a little bit, Northern Lights, I believe this is an elimination game for them. So if they do not win with 3 or more maps, they are out of Trials and have to finish the week off as a consolation prize. 1Point looking to increase that map differential and get that win too. And they're going to start it off strong with Malvasa on that Reinhardt, getting the kill on to Zarya. And so this is just looking like your general first point on Lighthouse. A little brawly, a little bit of trading, but a little bit of hooking, but really 1Point is going to take the point before we do get into this quick pause. It looks like Northern Lights did have a player DC.
Yeah, a little bit of a DC, unfortunate over there, but 1Point is showing up really strong. It was actually the player who got disconnected going down first. That was the Zarya. So, you know, this is kind of the weakness, the potential weakness of the tank line that Northern Lights are running. Oftentimes, you know, it's so annoying, especially in your ranked games when you get all those big meaty bodies on the point and you're forced to chew through them. But Zarya's are a weak point when it does come to that triple, quadruple tank line. Once her bubbles are down, it's really on the onus of the other tanks to try and keep her protected, keep each other protected. So hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit more of that coordination coming out from Northern Lights as we get back into game.
Yeah, definitely has moments where she can step up and be that tank, but only when the bubble is available. Other than that, she can be ripped up by some of the DPS in the game. And so we're going to see these teams see each other once again. The Reinhardts are going to swing their hammers together and say hello to each other's faces. We already have an Earthshatter, and he's going to get 3. Oh, looks like 5. My math is down. Coalescence is going to come out and try to save the team as well, but Mez is going to get a return kill with that charge into the walls. Of course, going to get the boot kill on to Frost. Meza just popping off right now, known for a little bit of that Reinhardt, and that Northern Lights going to pull it back from that DC on Kotetsu and get the point back.
Oh, Mesa's counter shatter was insane over there. Literally laid, I think, probably every single one of 1Point down on their backs, and then Veinless little Coalescence Lighthouse to finish things out. So 1Point, they'll have about 45% to their name, which is not too bad, especially as they'll be coming in with a rally from Porthic. Pops that, press the Q immediately. Beautiful Q press, by the way.
Yeah, really good bubble from Frost as well. And that was also going to open it up. These Reinhardts getting the first kills in both fights so far. Graviton Surge going to get 3. The bubble is going to save Kotetsu, but not for long. As a self-destruct from Brust, a very underrated player on this team, is going to finish things out. And he's going to get knocked off the map thanks to the shield charge boop combo. That is great for 1Point as they get back on the board. Northern Lights not able to surpass percentage.
What's even more great, Boop, though, is that they're able to hold on to that sound barrier. It's going to be crucial for prolonging the fight. Now that 1Point have taken control back, they just need to sustain. Northern Lights, they fell very quickly in that last fight due to a great combo. Bruce, and we know this guy's off tank is insane. And so Northern Lights will be trying to battle it back in. They throw the Graviton Surge right away. Great positioning.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and use both support ultimates to save everyone in the Graviton Surge, but are they going to save them from the grave after this Earthshatter? And it doesn't look like they are because of these Moiras and the healing output they have both been putting in there, as well as some shielding from the sound barriers. Now we do get onto the point, and Riverboat gets a great hook on it to that D.Va. The D-Max is incoming, and we see another Graviton Surge. There's Graviton Surge upon Graviton Surge in these fights so far, as 1Point is pulling ahead thanks to a better grab and no support ultimates to support there for Northern Lights. 1Point gonna flip the point back.
You can see now a distinct difference developing between these two teams despite running very similar lineups. Northern Lights, Zekker popped that sound barrier in a panic response to the Earthshatter. Did great timing, managed to save his team, but 1Point used that rally aggressively to try and take space. And now Northern Lights, they're going to have to put a little bit of aggression in their breakfast cereal, but not if they're all shattered with an Earthshatter.
Yeah, Earthshatter does go down. Meza is going to take Frost, but I believe might have gone off the edge himself. Now it's also going to continue his dominance on this round so far, as 1Point going to take the win, 156 off the back of some good tank play.
Yeah, excellent tank play. Very good ultimate cycling, as well as we saw from the supports on the side of One.PoinT. A great sound barriers. Every single time the coalescence got popped, the rally was used. It was for maximum value. We've talked about this before with teams that we've seen in Open Division and other tournaments, Boop. But it's the difference between playing passively and reactively and proactively, right? So One.PoinT, they were using those support ultimates not just to sustain themselves through fights, but to try and make openings and make plays, which I've been really enjoying from them so far.
Exactly, and that proactive reactive approach is pretty evident here on Ruins. It's how you react to those Widow headshots and how you can create those opportunities and sight lines for your Widow, as well as Orthic is going to look to get the first pick for One.PoinT as Northern Alliance is not running a sniper. Riverboat going to try to act in that role just a little bit. I kind of like Riverboat on McCree. That like thematically works really well. Isn't that the name of one of his skins? I think it is.
Potentially. I only wear Banana McCree, so I'm not sure. But
There
Fat
are
is
no other
down
skins.
early on, and that's going to be extremely painful loss for One.PoinT. But it doesn't matter. Riverboat finding himself caught between a tank and a shooty place over here. Horthic setting up that beautiful crossfire, doming all of Northern Lights in the back of their head. And One.PoinT, they've just surrounded this tank lineup and just demolished them.
Yeah, complete control coming from One.PoinT there. So they're going to get the first flip on to Northern Alliance. And as they build their percentage, one of the big reasons is making those opportunities. One.PoinT and Orthic, looking at that ult charge, not a lot of headshots, but some good body shots to butter up the rest of the team. And the 2 ultimates available for One.PoinT. Actually, just one. The ultimate was to the remech as the pulse bomb comes out and gets nothing as Acor has to rewind right out of there, getting taken down below half health. And Horthic is actually going to get a spider mine kill. Riverboat's going to even it up though. So no Zenyatta's in at this fight thus far, and the kills are still even. This is a 4v4, but that rally is going to make things a lot harder for One.PoinT to break through the HP of Northern Lights. But with that res onto that Widowmaker, it's going to be a lot easier as Envision is keeping that D.Va in the air and out of the fight. And as predicted earlier, Kotetsu and Meza are going to get the kills, but the self-destruct is actually going to help Envision get taken down. I believe that was part of the shield going down, and right now One.PoinT's actually holding strong.
Yeah, One.PoinT not doing bad at all. Riverboat finally finds Horthic, so no mid Widowmaker once again for One.PoinT, but even so, Frost running circles around this very slow and immobile tank lineup. The Pulse Bomb doesn't stick, but Meza still goes down, and it's an absolute brawl here. Northern Lights, they have to back off. And now, great stun. Frost does manage to escape with his life, but Northern Lights, they ceded so much percentage there on the objective to One.PoinT as they weren't really able to get a full 6-man engage anytime. I mean, the difficulty with running up against this Widowmaker Tracer dive that we see One.PoinT bringing is that there's very little verticality, no verticality actually from Northern Lights at all, and also no long-range damage. But Kree is not really going to be able to win out against a Widowmaker in this case, and especially when Horthic has the sights and knows exactly where to apply those bullets.
Yeah, the sound barrier is going to go down because this is do or die for Northern Lights. Graviton Surge coming out as well. And looking at the kill feed, not a lot doing because of that Transcendence from Scalar. And so the Desperation Earthshatter comes down, not really going to do anything either. It's One.PoinT in complete control thus far on Ruins. Great headshot to end the round for Orthic on Widow. And that is a quick 2-0 on Ilios. You blinked and it might have been over. Ham, what do you think about that round?
I mean, we saw the point of view of Envision on that Brigitte, and I think that basically summed up the entire game for Northern Lights, especially there on Ilios. You check out, these lovely Reinhardt Reindeer games. Always a fave. I love seeing, heavy tank lineups run just because of this. Reinhardt's going ham, as is, I gotta support my ham brothers. But yeah, so we saw Envision on Ruins. You saw he was constantly turning around, and it wasn't just to try and get that flail damage in so you can get the Inspire passive healing going. It was because he was literally being approached, gobbled up from all sides. If it wasn't the Widowmaker, Horthix setting up a flank, it was Frost on that Tracer running circles, being that obnoxious mosquito, just taking bites out of all of the tanks. And he has a very mobile shield, did Envision on that Brigitte, but it just wasn't quite enough. Between him, the Zarya bubble, the Reinhardt shield, there was just no way to keep Northern Lights protected long enough for they themselves to put in the damage into 1.0. We saw so frustrating every single time that Envision maybe got a couple of hits into the D.Va. She just flew up onto the high ledge where the Mercy was tucked away, safe. 1.0 doing a really good job protecting their supports for the most part, and really just running circles around Northern Lights.
Yeah, and I think we mentioned it during the cast. One thing that really impressed me about 1.0 was the control they had, specifically on Ruins, as that was a steamroll for that map specifically. But on Lighthouse, there was some good tank play coming from both sides, Evie. What's something that Northern Lights kind of has to do to adjust their gameplay to try to attack 1.0 in a different way?
I mean, this unfortunately kind of just comes down to the fact that this new Northern Lights roster hasn't had nearly as much time together to play as 1.0 has. As the desk mentioned, 3 of the members are former World Cup Team Portugal players, so they, harken back even further than their open division run together. Whereas Northern Lights, they kind of came together in, the early moments before trials. And when you are running these tanks, you might be tempted to think that, hey, we'll just out-sustain the enemy team on the point, but you also have to realize that between the 3.5-4 tanks that you're running, there's not a whole lot of damage to be found. So in order to shorten that time to kill, make the fights as clean as possible, you really have to be coordinating all of your ability cooldowns, bubbles, shielding, defense matrix, hooks, right, for maximum value in order to whittle down any single member of that 1.0 team. And I think that was where the slight lack of polish really showed for Northern Lights.
Yeah, especially on Ruins, if I'm not mistaken, because there was a really brawly fight there where Northern Lights had a chance to try to take over that point, and they kind of just, I think, freaked out and weren't as organized as they needed to be. Going back to the proactive, reactive thing, they reacted, they went in there, but they weren't proactive about getting those kills. And something that you keep mentioning is time to kill. Was that the reason why they were having a hard time on Ruins, especially when they didn't give themselves a chance?
Well, that I think could also be chalked up to some of the hero picks that they saw. So no D.Va, right? So no verticality to go and try and challenge out a Widow, no Winston either, and also no Tracer or Genji. So generally when you come up against a Widowmaker on a map that has a lot of long sight lines, you either want to be able to run your own sniper, which Northern Lights did not have. They had a McCree instead, Riverboat, or you want to be able to close the distance, right? Or just to, keep her uncomfortable constantly having to use that grapple just to escape so she can't use it to get those favorable sight lines. But that wasn't really what was happening for Northern Lights. They were having a hard time just approaching the point. And, when they did get there, they were constantly turning around. Their necks were probably all up in a spiral with, how many 360s they were doing. And of course, going back to the fact that the team comp that they were running with that McCree can't really challenge out a Widowmaker in terms of long range distance. There's drop off for McCree, so he's not nearly as strong.
Yeah, definitely some motion sickness coming in from Northern Lights. Whenever I spin like that when I'm playing D.Va, I legit get motion sickness. So.
You spin my head round, baby, right round. Right? We're gonna get some karaoke going, man.
I know, for some reason the song in my head was the I'm blue. I don't know why.
That's another different head motion, kind of like a bob, Right?
And she's pink. I don't know, but that's just a window into my soul, I suppose. And hopefully that means the song is stuck in all your heads, but the score is incorrect. Oh, they did finish it. They did fix it right now. 1.0 up 1-0 on the blue side, and Northern Lights is going to be on the red side. And we have been approached, and we're into King's Row right now. One of my favorite maps. I think the community voted that this is the best map in the game. 1.0 Northern Lights. Who's got the advantage here, Ham?
1.0, but that is a given. We all knew it coming in here. Northern Lights, they haven't won a single map, or a single series rather, and 1.0 have been doing not too bad. So this Widowmaker from Frost is certainly going to be a good way to try and ward off One.PoinT, who look like they may be well sticking with this double sniper composition right out of spawn, and I like this, running single tank, so a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Meza to make space and more importantly stay alive himself, and oh, already the sniper's paying dividends.
Yeah, showing exactly why this team comp works. Riverboat getting the first kill, and that's got to feel great because he didn't show up very often in the last round, and that's going to be one tick for sure. And with no mercy, you've got no support. They are going to come back and try to contest before the second tick is online for them. Kotetsu raining rockets from above, trying to get that HP low. This Mercy needs to stay alive as Widowmaker is in an awkward spot, but Frost is actually going to get the kill on Kotetsu. That should not happen in that situation. Bruce and Malzasa going to follow that up, and what looked like a pretty weak defense is turning it around thanks to some picks from One.PoinT.
Ooh, and what a great way to cap off a one fight. Frost getting the drop onto Envision as well, so that'll be a tilter. He'll have a few seconds to think about it in spawn, but that was a beautiful rebound. How often do we see teams go behind that hotel or are actually forced past that archway, come back in with a vengeance? Fat on this Lucio really doing wonders for his heavy tank lineups, repositioning in that defense. So even though you don't have the damage boost on the Widowmaker, Frost, as we saw, more than capable of holding his own up against Afara.
Exactly. So Malzasa's shield is going low. I did see it almost break earlier, so it does look like it has recharged just a bit. Ooh, and this Dragon Strike could be big, but since these guys are great, everyone just moves into the right direction. No one gets killed by the Dragon Strike, but because of the chaos, Riverboat is able to get rid of Frost, but it doesn't seem to matter as Northern Lights is still falling at the hands of One.PoinT hands.
Whoa, and the finishing kill onto Meza as well. Northern Lights, they have a lot of pick potential here, running both of the snipers as well as the Pharah, but unfortunately, none of the shots just seem to be landing. And when they do, it's not just a question of whether or not you get the kill, but when are you getting the kill? Northern Lights really having a hard time capitalizing on the man advantage when they do get it. Now, though, this may be a slightly better composition. They're going to be running their own Brigida Lucio.
And that they're going to be running right back to spawn.
Speed boost just going to be escorting them that much more quickly back to respawn.
Well, I think dying in that death timer teleported them back.
Yeah, dying was definitely.
You were like done with your
factor.
point, and then all of a sudden everybody was dead. And looking at Northern Lights ult, they're not even close, so they're at a huge disadvantage here. And with 1 minute left, Kotetsu potentially might not get a grab in time. Famous actually going to struggle there as well. Zekor not going to have a sound barrier because of this headshot, and that opens things up for a 1 point hold on A right now, Ham. So the reset's going to happen. Meza, Veinless, both super low.
Zenyatta Veinless, no, he finally does go down. This is so painful for Northern Lights. They swapped at the last second, trying to work up to that Graviton Surge, or at least an Earth Shatter, which is going to be likely for Meza, but the team actually just needs to get onto the point. 30 seconds left to start overtime, but you cannot just push into a Widowmaker slow like that. Frost knew exactly where all of the heads were, and he was hunting hard. Now One.PoinT have both the sound barrier and Scalar's Transcendence on, so Northern Lights have got a lot of support ultimates to try and chew through before they can start accruing percentage.
Yeah, Riverboat gonna go ahead and try the high noon, but gonna get taken down because of it. And Earth Shatter not gonna go down though. And this is starting to look a little bit better from Northern Lights getting that first kill. The grab coming down from One.PoinT, not gonna do much out of that. And finally, Northern Lights, who needs ultimates? We've got the kills. Northern Lights is gonna get point A. Ham looks bad, but they pulled it out.
Smells good, tastes bad, but Northern Lights, a classic Overwatch, man, in the last second, in the nick of time, they do manage to take point A, and they know how lucky they were. You see Meza pushing up with Kotetsu and that Lucio just to keep maintaining that Zarya bubble, that Zarya laser charge, as they also try and just get a little bit of free push for this payload, because 2 minutes is not a very impressive time bank to try and finish out Streets phase. But the good news is One.PoinT have largely spent most of their support ultimates. However, Northern Lights still going to have to watch out for Bruson's grab.
Exactly. So One.PoinT also has Rally, so they're going to have the extra HP as that is going to go ahead and go off for everybody. here's some love, here's some more HP, Reinhardt. Go in there, do your thing, swing that hammer. But we're just gonna look at each other just a little bit right now as these two teams are, shaping each other up. And the Earthshatter is gonna go down from Malzaza, and Envision will be the first pick from that. Graviton coming out from 1Point. You said look out for a hand, and they did not, as they all go down. Northern Lights gets wiped.
It's that 1-2 punch, man, as we say here in Broadcast.gg. Grab when you have Shatter after, although it was kind of in the reverse order this time around. But the good news for 1Point is Frost has actually swapped off onto the Junkrat, a really good hero for this Streets phase. And in the time that the Earth Shatter and Graviton Surge were expended, he will have built up a tire. So 1Point is still going to have defensive options on the table because Kotetsu himself going to be very close to that galactic black hole, that unwilling hug.
All right, let's see this tire parkour, and parkour indeed. Valence and Riverboat are both going to go down with 48 seconds. It's going to give them one more shot here to move this payload even further. Ham, I'm just, I kind of want to see them just go for it, be aggressive.
Go aggressive, be aggressive. I mean, Northern Lights, they have nothing to lose. One more possible push over here. Kotetsu is the closest one. Meza right behind him with that Earthshatter, Vaneless with that Transcendence at the ready, but he cannot get picked off early on. Northern Lights, they lost their McCree and Zenyatta right off the bat in that last push, but Frost, he's used that tire, so that's off the board, but they still have to worry about that plain old Reinhardt damage as they engage in a little bit of
that
shield
grab was beautiful. Far enough away and moved them up above Reinhardt's shield, getting 2 kills from Northern Alliance and Riverboat's a Deadeye, and they are finally getting some progress. So just like the end of Point A, the end of Streets phase is looking the same. Are they going to be able to finish this in overtime? So we're going to go ahead and see this Deadeye one more time, and that beautiful placement from that grab.
Overtime, so Northern Lights cannot take a toe off of this point. I mean, they're cosplaying LA Valiant over here, really coming alive only when the time crunch is down. But that was a beautiful stun there. He does manage to stay alive courtesy of a Transcendence, but the Earthshatter are going to get utterly blocked.
Yeah, both Earthshatters not really doing much. The bubble saving one of them, but what is going to go down is going to be the rest of Northern Lights that will not complete Streets phase, Sam. And that is going to be a pretty tough defense, seeing how aggressive Malzaza and the rest of 1Point have been this game so far.
That Reinhardt knows no fear, man. That is a Reinhardt who trusts the DPS behind his shield to be putting in that pressure to allow him to take that space so aggressively. At 1Point, I mean, they came through, they lost that fight in the middle of Street space, but they're more than happy to just wait it out patiently because they knew the tire would be coming online. And I really enjoy that kind of ultimate comboing and the patience and discipline coming out from 1Point. Northern Lights did really well, a lot of clutch plays to seal the deal on Point A and then get them so close to that Point B take. However, the win conditions were always more difficult for the red side, as running with that McCree, if you're not really landing those crispy headshots, it can be a little bit difficult to convert any kind of damage into noticeable payload progress. We saw that only a few times was the High Noon really finding a lot of pay dirt. However, this time around, Northern Lights on the defense, they do have the unfortunate situation of having to hold pretty strongly to keep 1Point from going up just 2-0 and taking both maps before the halftime. But this Junkrat Widowmaker comp could work out pretty well. What do you think, Boop?
I think it can. Junkrat is good on King's Row. A lot of things to bounce off of those, bounce the grenades off of. And one thing they have to remember is where they got stopped on Street phase is where you're going to stop the team right before capturing the point. So Northern Lights can feel all right about where they are. They could feel better. Definitely wanting to get that second point will help them out. But as we start off here, 1Point is showing off that Brussin, who is playing Zarya thus far, is going to maybe stick to this fair. I don't want to jinx myself. And it looks like they are also going to be running the double sniper one tank composition that we mentioned a little bit earlier. And so Brussin is going to switch to D.Va as Frost gets headshot by Envision. Great start from Northern Lights.
Yeah, good start. You definitely need to win that initial push to, just set the tone here on your own defense. But we see Horthic over here escorted by his Mercy, just looking to blink down those shields, as this is a pre-patch Hanzo, so still with the Scatter Arrow, no Storm Bow. and no lunge as well, but none needed as Frost, his sniper compatriot, picks up Zekor.
Yeah, it looks like he is Frost's tone deaf. Didn't listen to that last song. Gonna go ahead and try to go onto the point. 1Point is because they need to try to get this fast, and they're gonna give themselves some good movement on to the payload, but that's not the case as the rest of Northern Lights, even though as the rest of 1Point is gonna take down Northern Lights on the point because of opening it up from Frost. Rez coming down on Malzasa. They're gonna have everyone going forward into Streets phase.
Yeah, this is a maximum mobility one-shot potential composition from 1Point running Mazausa on that single listed. Brusen actually on the Genji now. So this is a man with a very deep hero pool. Really pleased to see him kind of flex that muscle here. Fat does go down, so that's a little bit of buffer bot for Northern Lights over here as Mazausa by himself going on that mad flank. So he's really freelancing here. Scalar is able to get that Harmony Orb onto him, throw it, and leave it. No, not this time around though. But while the rest of the 1Point DPS are kind of setting up these crossfires, just swarming around Northern Lights, and once again taking advantage of the monodirectionality of Meza's shield.
Exactly. So 1Point looking strong so far. Brusson already really close to that Dragon Blade. 75% potentially can have it for the next fight. Opening it up on the payload. Dragon Strike going down. Going to force everyone onto the right side and keep Kotetsu in a vulnerable position. And vulnerable indeed, as they're going to give Brusson his Dragon Blade and the D-Mech here in just 1 second. Not a lot of health. Let's see if he's going to unsheath the blade here soon. Riptire coming out. Let's see if Northern Lights is going to be able to convert this into any kills. Yes. Now Zasa is going to go down. That's how you say his name. You gotta say it with a little bit of a jazz whisper. Now Zasa, as the Dragon Blade is coming out from Brusson as well. Nothing to do, but the rest of his team is going to get the kills. Great res from Zekor. Now Zasa's gonna get the kill on Zekor during that res though, and Horthic gonna finish it out. So Dragon Blade just gonna strike fear, but the rest of 1Point gonna convert.
Oh yeah, no, suddenly scatter arrow salad central in that mega room. Unfortunately though, even with that impressive performance from Riverboat taking down 2 by himself, he eventually will fall without any of the rest of his team or his tanks around him, and is down to the line now. Northern Lights, they have to hold. Zeker though does have that Valkyrie, can pop it very early on, but even up in the air, Mercy gotta be watching out. Dual sniper and that Genji, as we see Meza now just trying to get onto the point.
Yeah, Riverboat's gonna pull out another tire. Was able to convert on Malzasa last time. Meza's gonna go down first, and he's gonna convert on Orthic first. However, the res is available for Meza's. Northern Lights actually looking pretty strong for this defense of 6v4 against 1Point, and that is gonna be a reset because Brusson is low.
Yeah, that was a great debate there from Fat. Perhaps a little bit of hubris from the Mercy going for a very risky resurrection. Doesn't get it and is de-lifed as well. However, with about 3 minutes left, 1Point, they're probably still going to be feeling pretty comfortable, especially with Brusen's blade coming online, and Baneless still 30% away from that crucial Transcendence to try and dull that Genji's blade. Riverboat himself as well, with a potential fight-winning tire, still so very far away. Now, all he can do really is just try and put in some of that spam, some tactical area of the Nile, but it's going to be the Dragons instead cleaving through this Northern Lights defense, picks up 2, and Brusen in with the finish and the sword, and that should be 1Point taking a dominant, controlling win here on King's Row.
Dominant indeed. I love that Dragon Strike Genji Blade combo because, you know, the Dragon Strike separates everybody away, puts other people in vulnerable positions. And so we have halftime to go over it. So 1Point, you're looking clean, you're looking good. Northern Lights, you've got some things to think about and talk about over halftime. And let's see if our desk is going to help them out as well. So we're going to throw it back to KT and the boys. Tell us a little bit more about the game.
Thanks, Boop. I really appreciate it. I mean, hey, we're at the point now. Northern Lights, they're 1 map away from elimination. They have to reverse sweep to stay alive in Contenders trials. That is not an ideal position. I don't think, Panda, that they really wanted to come into halftime down 2 maps for sure. I think we got you muted, buddy.
Yeah, you're muted, mate.
Maybe not. How about you, Rook?
He's back now. He should be back now.
I got hit with the bug pretty hard there. I'm not gonna
lie.
lie.
There it is. Hey.
Yeah, it was bound to happen to one of us eventually this weekend. It's bound to happen. But worst of all, Northern Lights walking in here, being down in this series, being down in trials altogether. I mean, they're not really having an easy time waltzing through this journey altogether, going against a Goliath of a situation against 1.0. You're going to have to go back to the drawing board, maybe scratching their heads a little bit too hard.
Rook, I want to ask you a little bit about Ilios. You kind of mentioned, as we were kind of discussing what we were seeing, about how tight 1.0 was playing on that Ilios map. What were you seeing?
So basically, 1.0, it wasn't just Ilios, honestly. Well, specifically on Ilios, it was really key. They were just cycling their ults so well. They would lose a fight, but they'd still have like 3 or 4 ultimates, and they'd be really rationing them out properly. Proper ult economy. The team was just coordinated so well. They lost a fight, as I said, had 3 ultimates, then contested it instantly with a coalescence, just walked back in and took it. They were just constantly in control because they had good ultimate timing and good ultimate economy. And as a result, they just looked so dominant on that first map. It followed through to the second one, and we saw multiple fantastic kills, regardless of the great plays that we saw come out from Northern Lights, like that beautiful grab into High Noon, which was fantastic to see coming out from them. 1.0 was just constantly having the advantage in terms of ult, and also just winning fights with them and just using them efficiently.
Well, and Panda, you were kind of mentioning some of the compositional issues we were seeing with Northern Lights, some hero choices that maybe might not be your first choice. Did you see that from Ilios, and did that transfer over to Kings Row?
I think it definitely transferred over to Kings Row. I mean, we saw both teams pull out a solo tank attack coming out to point A of Kings Row. Northern Lights, however, they came out there with the solo tank of being Winston, but they came out with a Pharmacy, which was pretty interesting. We know that if there's one hero in particular on the defensive side that you're almost always expecting, KT, it's that Widowmaker just hanging out in the back, just ready to take down any reigns.
Sure.
And although they did have to give about 60% away to the capture point, I'm sorry, it was a little bit below 60%, but all specifics aside, it was very difficult to gain headway on to any ground. And then we saw a flex beyond belief, Frost switching over to Junkrat, then again pinning against the 3-3 composition that was coming out for the attack of Northern Lights. So you could see 1.0 being one step ahead actually against the compositional changes of Northern Lights.
Yeah, I mean, like, Brussum was absolutely fantastic, as you said.
Right.
We saw a lot of switches, and he played Genji. He was playing off tank, and he also was hovering Zafara, and he was just fantastic on pretty much everything we saw him on, especially on the last attack for them on Kings Row, where he just popped off on that Genji. He one time activated his blade, didn't find any kills, but forced the entirety of the enemy team into the line of fire for the rest of his team, and they just smashed that whole fight.
So Rook, what did Northern Lights need to do at this point? What adjustments do they need to make? Because their back's against the wall here. They have no lives left.
I mean, they really need to bring some less. They don't need to necessarily have such creative use of their ultimates. Maybe just going for just using them better in terms of landing the right opportunities, rather than looking for these Hail Mary shots, which we saw come out from them. I want to see them generate ult a little bit faster. We did see some lacking ult generation, for example, on Kings Row, when they didn't get a lot of ult charge for their supports. I think generally this game has been about the ultimates. They've not been necessarily outplayed in terms of an individual level, other than maintaining and generating ultimates.
Panda, any thoughts to add here before we hop into Hanamura?
Just that 1.0 is just playing these maps so well. I mean, Kings Row in particular, just think about those long corridors, double snipers. Our beautiful casters called it out. That Dragon Strike was so wonderfully played. And we have a lot of Super Brothers inside gaming, but one thing we never noted about is the Super Shimada Brother combo and the zoning Dragon into the unsheathing of the Dragon Blade. Whew, that is a scary combo to look at. I mean, especially in that third-person spectacle that we were stuck in there. That was a lot of cleaving coming out from that Genji. And to your point, Rook, Bruceson was going large. And if there's anything that Northern Lights needs to do, it's think of this as a chess game and just try and attempt to be one step ahead of 1.0.
All right, well, it's do or die time for Northern Lights. They're down 2-0 going into Hanamura. We're getting ready. Defenses are being set up, and Ham Tornado and Booposaurus are ready for you guys. Let's go ahead, jump into the map. Go ahead and take it away, guys.
We are going to dive right into Hanamura, Ham Tornado and I's favorite and least favorite map. So you guys are either going to be here for like 10 minutes, or actually less than that, like 2 minutes, or like an hour, depending on how this game goes.
It's all or nothing here at the Boopnado Hanamura Resort, as we've definitely cast some like 4-minute games, but no, One.PoinT, they are hungry for the win, man. They want to potentially hold very strongly here on Point A and then just sweep this map out from Northern Lights in a jiffy.
Yep, both of these games so far have been pretty fast. Ruins was definitely more competitive than King's Row was, but a lot of teams are different on different kinds of maps, so let's see how strong Northern Lights is here on their first attack on Hanamura, as Tracer is going to do some scouting and try to see the rest of the team. Get some, get some recon action, get some Tom Clancy stuff going on.
Get some third eye action.
Exactly. And the rest of One.PoinT is actually going to spot everybody out, get those kills, and this Winston is going to fly right towards Envision. Frost is going to finish it up. But man, how scary is it? That big monkey man just coming in hot.
Yeah, Mauzasa, he could put on like one of those golden retriever masks, because he was basically just flushing Envision out into the open for Frost to pick up like skeet shooting, man. Northern Lights, they're looking really lost here. I mean, good crossfire set up by Envision, but he just wasn't quite able to, turn any of that damage into actual kills, as One.PoinT, were very coordinated in their dive, eliminating all of the Northern Lights folks, peeling in on the right side. So now Scalar...
Frost getting the headshot.
Yes, I was going to say Scalar has 60% up to Transcendence, but might not even need it if Frost keeps, just finding these heads.
Exactly. Easy fat heads, fat clicks, fat death. One thing that I would love to see one day is like all of the Winstons get their sound effect changed and then just be pull every single time they jump. That'd be fantastic. As the only fighting we've really seen so far has been from the Widowmakers. The res does go down from Frost, and Riverboat is going to get back on the point, draw some attention towards him. Azasa is low, has the Discord Orb on him actually, but is going to survive, and Fat's actually going to lose the Valkyrie. So Northern Lights getting a lot out of that first fight. 65 right here on the point. The defensive spawns are pretty far, so fire in the hole. Any tires? No, but Malzasa is going to get the kill, but right now Northern Lights gives themselves an opportunity, and the tire guys last 10 seconds, that is an eternity, and does get Envision in the end. Northern Lights, though, you still have your chances. Frost is moving away from the Widowmaker onto the Tracer, trying to get back here. That tells me they're trying to contest back onto this point A, and they're giving themselves an opportunity. The Core and Fat are both doing that Lucio battle, riding those walls, but to no avail, as even though there was a pretty good stall at the end there, Ham, 5.5 minutes left for Northern Lights.
Mauzasa really overstaying his welcome was what opened things up there for Northern Lights. He gave them a huge opportunity, and they didn't pick up a monkey. They got a Swiss medic instead, which is, a trade you'll take any day of the week. And now One.PoinT, they burned both their Valkyrie and the Transcendence. So now it's going to be some wholesale swaps from the side of One.PoinT. Horthic going on to that Pharah, really good, especially against Envision's Brigida, but already the Zenyatta under pressure.
Yeah, the rewind is down for Riverboat, so he's going to be pretty vulnerable for the next 7 seconds. Pulse Bomb is live, though, and vulnerable indeed, as death is calling for Riverboat. So doing a little bit too much gambling on the boat, I guess, as Grusson and Orthic are going to continue the dominance of One.PoinT so far here on Point B. Not a lot of dominance on Point A, actually, so I don't want to misspeak, but pretty good defense here on Point B.
River boat, yeah. Unfortunately, the boat he's on and the river he's sailing is the river to Hades, man. That's Charon, that Greek mythological boat lord that ferries the dead to the underworld. Okay, nah, there's too esoteric of a reference. Anyways, but it was a good defense. The point is, it was a good defense from One.PoinT, an intelligent swap onto the Pharah for Horthic, but now he will just go back onto that Genji as Fat is on the Ana. So these are two heroes going all the way back to those, triple tank with Roadhog Soldier 76 days, moving into dive. This has been a beautiful combo. You can also get that nano boost onto your Winston Mazausa if you're choosing not to give it to your cybernetic Genji friend. Envision. Oh, the reflect kill.
Oh, that is tasty. That bullet must taste great. So great it caused Envision to die. That deflect, though, so good. Orthic continuing the Genji kills. Frost going down. So these fights, Ham, seem to be pretty chaotic so far, which seems to be, good for 1Point as Northern Lights are able to get a couple kills. Primal Rage is down for Northern Lights. Might have not needed to use that old little bit of fat finger, I think.
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't know, man. Northern Lights, they need to find their groove here. It is going to be very difficult, the mental game here. You're down 0-2. You haven't won a series yet, and you need to keep yourself alive by taking this map. Otherwise, 1Point will sweep the series. And, coming in there, very scrappy, like you said, Boop. Not a whole lot of coordination to speak of, but they are coming up on a rally and a transcendence, and this can be the opening through. Pop that trans, go in hard. Although, to be honest, you may want to try and wait for that rally instead, as Horthic is very close to the blade. You want to save the trans in that eventuality.
Yeah, Frost curving the bullet, shooting behind the Brigitte shield, getting the kill, and then getting the res cooldown as well, thanks to those wall hacks. Knows exactly where they're all standing. 1Point, though, has 3 ultimates. Brusson did just use self-destruct and gets 2. Who thought that would happen? And Zakor, I believe, was going for the res, but is going to go to spawn instead, Ham. So, again, dominance and aggression coming from 1Point.
Loving the aggression. You saw that they had nearly 6 ultimates up for that defense. Decided to, hold their hand, just throw in that single D.Va self-destruct. If nothing else, is buying a lot of time as Northern Lights are down now to their last 2 minutes, despite a pretty good point A take. Riverboat himself now is going to be swapping onto the Genji. Show Horthic what's up, but is likely going to have to take a couple of eco pushes here as 1Point are well stocked up to the gills with ultimates.
And so, with the ultimate economy from 1Point, they have enough to finish out this round, especially on the defensive side for 2CP, which is notoriously hard to take thanks to those spawns. But they're going to go ahead and flank the back. Meza going to go straight towards Frost, and that's the type of coordination we've been looking for from Northern Lights thus far, opening the point up for the take, and it's looking so good so far. But the Dragon Blade and the Grandma Juice is going to try to stop things in their tracks, and stop indeed. When you get a couple kills and you're still alive, you're going to give your defensive side the chance to defend this to the end. 1 minute and 12 seconds, and because of that Grandma Juice, because of unsheathing the blade hand, it looks like 1Point is going to put up another defense. But hey, signs of life from Northern Lights.
Juicy indeed, Boop. That is that's the sword, perfect for slicing up fruit for all of your refreshing beverage needs, and or just drawing a bit of blood. As 1Point, they did look a little bit shaky there, as the very strong dive coming out from Northern Lights forced them to potentially use more ultimates than they would have liked. They're now running on empty, so prompting the swap from Horthic onto the Brigitte, whereas Envision will have this pulse bomb. There's the Primal Rage online, and Riverboat himself will likely have this blade in the next fight. However, Envision goes down. That's not such a hot start for Northern Lights.
Ooh, it becomes less hot with Veinless going down. You don't want to see those supports go down, especially to Zenyatta in a non-mercy composition. Zakor, though, is getting close to that sound barrier. He's going to have to use that here soon. And Riverboat, though, going to get the blade himself. Get Scalar, but Brusson with another great self-destruct is going to get Riverboat drink that Dragon Blade. So I don't see how 1Point loses this thus far with 2 seconds left. We're going to see the Desperation Stagger spawns. Frost actually gets stuck and has to rewind away. Envision going to go down thanks to his Fat Anna grenade, and Brusson's going to continue this up. So just like I said earlier, Desperation spawns. 1Point going to take this to 1Point only. Look at that. Look at that series of words there. I got the Fat grenade, 1Point. And Northern Lights, your tournament life is on the line, because if you lose this round, you are not getting into Contenders proper.
I'm sure it's weighing pretty heavily on their minds here. Northern Lights, the question will be whether or not they can pull themselves up by their bootstraps. At 1Point, at least, they do have that 1 point buffer for Northern Lights, so that's always good. You don't have to full hold on Hanamura, which is possible, but very difficult and unlikely. We saw there at the very end, just Frost really going ham there. Frost has been, we all know him as an extremely capable DPS player. His Widowmaker, his sniper play has been excellent, but Tracer is actually one of his bread and butter heroes, as we saw him carrying that defense really hard in the last fight.
Yeah, Frost doing well on both characters. It's nice to see these Tracer players kind of slowly coming back, playing their mains. We saw so much of it during the Dive age. And Dive is still pretty popular, it looks like. We haven't seen a ton of Brigitte, even though her nerfs are reverted for this hand.
Mm-hmm. Not too much Brig, especially when you feel that maybe verticality and mobility would be a slightly better choice for your team, as it looks like Horthic may be sticking with this Genji. Northern Lights themselves, though, on this defense, they'll be going with the same as One.PoinT did, Riverboat on the Junkrat, Envision now on the Widowmaker. And even though the Widow was having a little bit of a hard time breaking through for Northern Lights early on, Envision has been going toe-to-toe with Frost in that sniper battle, and winning quite a few of those 1v1s. So his team definitely going to be looking to protect him, give him those resources to try and hold here, because Northern Lights, the more time they can shave off the clock, the better.
Exactly, and one thing that Riverboat did show was some skill on Junkrat on King's Row, and he's going to start off with some cheeky skill there. The cheese, poor guy, taking a dark nap. That's going to feel good. He needs his beauty rest. Can't get a booty like that with some booty rest, right?
A booty rest, exactly. I mean, you spend a lot of days doing those squats, those dash resets, right? But in the end, you still gotta rest. And One.PoinT have plenty of time to, take a couple of siestas here, but can't be too complacent. You see here Frost trying to tickle them down, but the rest of his team has already fallen.
Yeah, One.PoinT and Orthic. Orthic has spent more time in his spawn than he has on the map so far. Not necessarily his fault, maybe bad place at the wrong place at the wrong time. But coming into this next attack, they've got to try to get something going. They've been stifled the last 2 tries. So coming in here, Horthic's going to try to stay alive, not get clipped by any Junkrat grenades or conch mines or traps, or you just want to try to stay alive, get that ult charge, because he's been really good at getting that really, really fast. Frost getting taken very low, but going to rewind out of the way. Envision going to try to get some headshots. So this attacking team is vulnerable as they do enter the gate thanks to this Envision Widowmaker. And now with the wall hacks, everyone knows where everybody is on the side of Northern Lights. So they're actually going to go ahead and take the right side, and Envision is going to get the kill on Frost. Is the res going to happen? Good positioning from Fat to get a really clutch res on his end, but to no avail. Envision going to get the last headshot on Malzasa, one of the biggest heads in the game. You're going to take advantage of that and click right onto it. Fat going down as well. So another good defense from Northern Lights.
Yeah, not bad at all. Northern Lights are looking quite strong here, especially Envision. I mean, like you said, Gorilla's got quite the melon over here. Scalar gets a revenge kill, but Zeker will definitely be there to bring his Widowmaker back up into full fighting force. Yep, there we have it. One.PoinT, they can't get too comfortable here now. They're down to less than 2 minutes off of a very impressive early time bank. They are, though, just banking up those ultimates. Horthic finally getting around 80% to that blade. Frost, though, with this pulse bomb, this guy is nutty with those sticks. He, by himself, any kind of single pick onto the Northern Lights roster could be the opening that they need.
Oh, Riptire coming out, going to get Frost. The Caster's Curse is real. Say something nice. That player is dead. Orthic going to get taken low as well. The point is contested, but this is a 6v5. Now a 6v3 on the point for One.PoinT. Orthic is going to have that Dragon Blade. He's going to have a pretty great opportunity to flank onto the point, but he's got to wait for the rest of his team, as Northern Alliance is going on a Orthic hunt right now. Knows he's around there somewhere. Has the blade. Let's see if they're going to be able to, pick him out before this next fight, Ham. And so Northern Lights, best they've looked all day so far. 1 minute for a full hold against One.PoinT here on Point A Hanamura, as the attack is now starting to happen. They're going to dive right onto the point. This is the first advantage One.PoinT has had in terms of ultimates in a while, but Vaneless is going to wait for that Transcendence until Orthic is going to use that blade. I am mistaken, as Vaneless is going to use it right now, and that's going to give Orthic an opening right when that Transcendence dies. You're going to see the unsheathed blade here in just 1 second. 35 seconds left, and here it is, and he's going to try to get the Mercy, and just Frost actually is going to get it before the res. Good target prioritization there from One.PoinT. Took a while, took over 3.5 minutes. At One.PoinT do look like they're going to get A.
Yeah, they're gonna seal the deal over here. You saw that Scalar actually pop the trans to escort 1Point through the choke, potentially trying to, scare the Enlightenment out of Veinless as well, but very good discipline from the Northern Lights support line to try and hold on to that until Horthic drew his blade. Unfortunately, though, Veinless under pressure himself, forced to use that Transcendence a little bit early, and so there was a huge opening there for 1Point, and they made hay. However, now they have expended everything moving into this next point, so they're going to have to win this fight the good old vanilla Overwatch way. As we see Mao Zasa, a very ballsy dive, but not going to be reaping any benefits this time around.
Yeah, Mao Zasa more of a chocolate fan than a vanilla fan.
I see.
Yeah,
You gotta line up those preferences, man. Sometimes you're like ordering on like Uber Eats or whatever, and you're like, oh, mild, please, but then you sneeze and you hit like extra spicy and forget, and then it's just pain all around.
Man, you have some insane sneezes.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
not
my
something
sinuses
that happens to me.
dude, my sinuses are powerful. They called them the 2 great winds.
Another good headshot. Thanks for that, Spider-Man weakening Frost before getting the kill from Envision. Ooh, that feels nice. It's like popping a pimple that gets on the mirror, right? You just click that head and it just splatters everywhere. That feels good.
Yeah, think about that one, kids.
Popping pimples is fun. I like it. I know other people that do. Very popular thing on YouTube to watch. It's super weird. The internet is weird, but we're going to go into it this fight. Riverboat is really close to that rally, and that's going to help Northern Lights stay alive, but you got to stay alive themselves. And like you said earlier, good at post bombs, good at kills. The core is going down. At 1Point has a huge opportunity here to finish this out. One tick needed, and 1 tick is all. 1Point is going to eliminate. Man, blinking on the name for some reason. I got too
Northern
excited.
Lights, Northern Lights,
Northern
get their
Lights.
Snuffed, dude. The candle has burned down. 1Point, they take this series, and sometimes you just need one hero, one player to pop off. And Frost, I think he racked up about 4.5 kills by himself, single-handedly, in that last attack. And it was just once again, Northern Lights looking like they weren't 100% coordinated on where they wanted to take those engagements. Sometimes, the message wasn't passed to the Brigitte, who is still fighting out, beyond that high ground around that mega area outside, trying their best when the fight was really devolving on the high ground near the objective. So just a little bit of that coordination mishap.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than dying and seeing that 99% turn into your ultimate icon. That rally could have really changed things around. It's not just the extra HP, it's the damage mitigation too, right? And so going into it this next map, so this is a 4-map set, so we are going to play a 4th map, so just like Owl. So you're going to get to listen to us just for a little bit longer, but, Northern Lights, even though you might be eliminated from, Contenders, this doesn't mean that this is not an opportunity for your team to get better. So depending on how long you guys want to stay together, it's really good to keep trying. You can try some crazy things now, but, you really, really want to keep improving. It's not over for you.
Oh no, every match is a learning experience. That's what I tell myself as I'm losing 200 SR playing ranked, but it's true. And especially, yeah, thanks, Boop. I'm just kidding. No, especially for, these teams, developing that synergy, having just the experience with working with, different moving parts, being a well-rounded player is, sometimes everything isn't necessarily ideal. You're not able to play the same the same comps that you want, or the heroes that you really love, but sometimes you just got to make it work, and this is just another step in that direction.
Yeah, and so one thing I hope to see from Northern Lights going into this 4th map, hopefully I get some smelly cheese in there, some blue cheese, maybe some gorgonzola team comps, because why not, right? You're down 3-0, and this is your opportunity. Try out some new players. Man, we got to cast Danid yesterday, and some of that Doomfist was nuts.
Boy,
so yeah, and in team comps, and what's really great about Trials too is for the next weekend, you're also going to get to scrim against some other teams to really test your mettle as well, and potentially play spoiler to another team, which is a role that I like to play. I'm never good enough to make it into the next round, but I am just good enough to keep someone away.
You just ruin people's fun is the excuse me, is the takeaway. I think we're supposed to walk the message that we walk away with here.
Yeah, before Booposaurus, it was likes to ruin fun. Lassard. It's
It was
just like
a little bit too long, a little bit too much of a mouthful, not worth the syllables. But
I was a preschool teacher, and the one thing I made sure every kid knew was that there was no fun allowed. Because if there's no fun, a lot of the
squash
kids
their hopes early on.
exactly. You got to prepare them for the world they're about to
Iron
enter.
Fist.
Exactly. You got to test your communism muscles as much as possible before you reach that level. So Chris Bupasaurus Lassard 2028. Let's do it. I'm going to run on a strictly communist platform, but I am going to be super friendly to esports.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, communist platform. I was at E3 this week. Is that like one of those new things that they're pushing? Because we have like Xbox, PS4, PC, right? Communism, the next one. I mean,
yeah, it's the new character in Smash Ultimate.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say Fallout 76. There's like a tie-in right there with like the apocalypse, the communists raining down bombs. I was like, I see the product tie-ins. I see it, the synergy going on.
Well, one product that I really love is Overwatch. Not going to shout out
Yes.
any more other games. Don't want that slap on the wrist. But we're going to go down to Route 66, the home of McCree. So one thing I love to see is thematic characters. I love seeing the characters that live on these maps or from these maps on these maps. They actually tend to be pretty good on them, I feel like, just notoriously. And so Scalar, Zenyatta player, no support shown on One.PoinT so far, but you never know. You never know what you can see. They are up 3-0. So not only can Northern Lights try some things, One.PoinT can, but they really want to keep that map differential.
Yeah, the round robin, the map differential will matter eventually. So it's always good to have fun, but perhaps not this quite this carousel of characters here. Scalar though does swap off onto the Zenyatta. Actually, Fat and Horthic following right after onto the Brigitte and Mercy, respectively. And a brilliant opening pick. We see Northern Lights running with this Brigitte composition once again with the McCreans, just not quite enough damage, man.
Not quite enough, but Meza and Vaneless are going to do their work with some good DPS coming from that Zenyatta. And Northern Lights showing some strength here on the defense, have been better on defense thus far, especially on the last two maps. So, they don't want to go down 3-0, 3-1. They want that map win. They want to take something away. And Northern Lights is putting up a pretty good defense so far. So they're going to take up shop in big Earls like most people do. And Frost is going to get whip-shotted almost off the map and come right back on, though. That whip shot has a lot of distance to it. It's very, very underestimated. Riverboat, though, going to get Orthic. That is your job as that McCree. And we already have an Earth Shatter. Only one is going to take a nap, but Kotetsu is going to go down. So no protective bubbles. And that Earth Shatter is going to light the fire under One.PoinT's butt. And they're going to continue getting those kills. Riverboat almost getting now Zaza, but the bubble isn't going to save him. Scalar, trying to do some Jonak impression. A lot of red arrows coming from that Zenyatta.
Yeah, he gets the trade onto Riverboat. They kill each other, which is we'll take it. 50-50 feels good. But One.PoinT, as they come back in, surely for this point A contest, will have nearly all of their ultimates up. Same could be said for Northern Lights, though, as Horthic has actually swapped off onto this Pharah now, get a little bit of extra damage and try and chunk down One.PoinT, soften him up, and butter him up, as Boop might say, before they get through this choke over here. But they may well be met with more than a rocket. Brucein is ready with that grab.
Yeah, and they have the super HP right now. Sound barrier hitting all 6 people along with the rally. Riverboat going to get the Deadeye kill onto Fat. That's exactly what you want to start off with, as Scalar is just trying to do as much damage as possible before he goes down. So the rally sound barrier combo working out strong. Vaneless and Meza taking their ultimates into the next fight, but One.PoinT is going to have the advantage moving into the next fight.
One.PoinT will have the advantage in numbers. Fat went down quite early there, courtesy of a beautiful Deadeye from Riverboat. And so Vaneless holding onto this chance is going to be huge in the eventuality of Brucin's grab over here. Northern Lights, though, they have to know that this is possible. They could easily combo it with Horthic's Barrage and cut right through that Enlightenment.
Yeah, the Transcendence not quite enough to save Envision. That is 3,000 damage during the Rocket Barrage, and that is a lot of damage after that Earth Shatter. As I love when they slowly start getting back up. They do their sit up and they're just getting pelted with bullets.
Yeah, it's like walking through a combination of molasses and just shrapnel. You're like, I have to get up faster, but I can't. That's me in the mornings, though. I just you know, back when my mom would call me for school and stuff, I'm like, oh no, I can't. I got earth shattered. No, 5 more minutes.
I used to eat breakfast in the car on the way to school. Again, that explains a lot. I had an interesting childhood. Anytime I tell these stories about myself, I'm like, how did I get here? How did I make it? But Northern Lights is going to try to stop them from the second point here after 1.0 does take point 1 after Big Earls, and Bruston's going to continue doing his thing. Like we said, earlier, I think on the first map, Bruston is very, very good, a little underrated. Sometimes the off-chain players don't get a lot of hype based on the types of characters they play, but Bruston's been very, very stable throughout his play here in the series.
Absolutely consistent. This guy is great on both Zarya and D.Va. Gonna have a Graviton search for this Streets phase push. And Frost, though, that entire time was just sitting literally behind Northern Lights, utterly uncontested. And we saw Kotetsu taking to the air there, that ragdoll, so beautiful. He will have a Graviton search of his own, but it's not going to be just about looking in front of him, but to the side as well. Manages to escape with his life.
Yeah, Frost, because Mercy was healing him at that exact moment, was able to survive. High Noon going down. Fat seems to be a magnet for these Dead Eyes thus far, but 1.0 doesn't seem to care. Hey, you take our Mercy, we take you. And 1.0 is going to continue their attack, Ham.
Take our Mercy, we take the battle right here. Fat, yeah, you gotta uninstall that magnet, dude. It's not a great addition to the appearance, gotta be honest. And it's really not helping you in this sniper battle. Although Envision will be swapping onto the Tracer now. So.
Ooh, good grab from Bruston. The shield as big as the doorway, not going to be able to follow that up, but it's for sheer numbers really, really good, and it's actually going to delay them from the point, and so they're going to get the second point because everyone is wrapped up in that grab. Even though no one died, still really effective.
Absolutely, it was literally a 6-man grab. Could not have been a sweatier, unwilling hug there from Northern Lights. And it'll be a little tilted coming into here, but they do have that Earth Shatter online from Meza, and Baneless still holding on to this Transcendence. Hasn't really had a chance to use it before the rest of his team dies so far in this fight. Gonna have to save it for Horthic's Blade, though. He is a hungry Blade, crying out for the souls of its victims.
Yeah, last time he had the Blade, Baneless had to push his Transcendence out before that Genji could unsheath, and his team has suffered for it. Baneless might actually go down here, and yes, that's exactly what we're going to see, thanks to a good triple shuriken to the head. The Drag Blade is going to come out. Orthic misses the boop. The swipes are coming down, and a reset is available. Let's see how many kills. Not a lot, actually, but the rest of his team is going to follow it up. I love the reaction from Zakor with that boop on that Genji Blade, though.
Oh, that was beautiful. Horthic definitely just cosplaying a guy at a LARP, walking around carrying a sword. You really need to get that first dash through, but no matter, Brucein coming in hot and heavy with the rest of those kills, gonna have yet another Graviton surge for this fight.
Yeah, the Earth Shatter, I don't believe hit anybody. The Graviton Surge not doing much as well, but Kotetsu going to open things up for Northern Lights. Riverboat is going to get the kill onto Orthic as well, and with these spawns, 2 kills means a reset.
2 kills, absolutely. Defensive respawns, very strong here. As we see Riverboat going very aggressive, way far in front of that Reinhardt shield, though not going to get punished for it, as Northern Lights are more than happy to just wait for their next regroup. About a minute on the clock for them, so not too bad as Horthic swaps off onto the Brigitte for this third point push. These are very tight corridors, so you can really make good usage of that shield bash as well as a whip shot.
Yep, Frost knows exactly where everyone is. Ooh! Oh, I love the shield bash from Orthic, who's actually going to get 3 kills. The shield bash almost stopped the McCree ultimate from it happening. 1 Deadeye kill, but the aggression from Orthic opened it up. Switch to the character already has 50%. 3 kills right away. I don't remember last time I saw that with a Brigitte. Sound Barrier going to try to save the rest of the Northern Lights, but it doesn't seem to be helping just yet, thanks to that Transcendence coming from Scalar, healing up the rest of 1 point. Now Zasa at 1% with that Earth Shatter. Earth Shatter actually misses because of the bubble as well. Northern Lights is slowly but surely going down, and a Graviton Surge coming out from Bruston as well is going to keep 1.'s push alive. It looks pretty open on the point thus far. As always, D.Va will be the last one. Baby D.Va will be taken down as well. Actually, they might just be far enough away for them to come right back just one more time. Riverboat going to go down, and so the last fast character going to, take a dirt nap as CP and Hex like to say all the time, and they get all 3 points. No time in the bank, but 1.0 does get all 3 points.
Yeah, they do clinch out the map completion, though, which means that Northern Lights, if they do want to take this into extra innings, they themselves now have the pressure to finish out Route 66. So not bad at all. Unfortunately, in this case, when we see mirror matchups coming into this third point, it was just a matter of 1.0 playing the composition better. Just better mechanics, good ultimate cycling, and Northern Lights, they looked like they just weren't quite on the same page, unfortunately. However, a lot of bright spots, right? McCree play has been on point so far for Northern Lights, and Fat, you gotta watch that positioning, man. The 3/4 of what you do as a support is staying alive so you can have that healing for the rest of your team, and unfortunately, losing your Mercy very early on forced a lot of unnecessary resets from 1.0.
Yeah, and that was probably the best defense Northern Lights had put up, taking all of the time away from 1.0. So good things to work off of. One thing that we tend to do is, I think, easier to point out what is going incorrectly for teams, but things that are going well, we definitely saw more of that from Northern Lights of this round, right, Ham?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of bright spots from Northern Lights, fittingly. And it's not just the glare from the sun in your eyes here on Route 66. As a 1.0 now, they themselves will have to defend. Now, this is where sloppy plays, getting a little bit of a big head can really hurt you on the defense when you don't have that. You only have a finite amount of ground to give. On the attacking side, you get wiped, it's all right. You know exactly where that payload's going to be. You know where the engagement's going to happen. But 1.0 on the defense, you're going to have to run a tight ship, plug up all of those holes, get those fingers ready to keep the water out because they only have a finite amount of space to give. And Northern Lights now changing things up a little bit. Oh, wow, the debate is strong here. I was about to say they're going with a full dive, and the potential for quick kills is certainly there, but it looks like it's going to be Riverboat on the McCree, escorted by his, posse of tanks once again.
Yeah, there is no McCree without no posse. That is for sure. And so they're going to see each other here at Big Earls. Riverboat going to get the headshot onto Orthic and get the kill on Brussin. Riverboat popping off here at the beginning of Route 66. Lots of dings so far. The accuracy seems to be pretty high as well, as those 2 kills are going to help Northern Lights push this payload a little bit further. Mercy being annoying, taking out that pistol, that's a desperation attempt.
Yeah, she just wants to rejoin the rest of her team for a full hold.
Oh, that kill was great. It was a Kobe grenade click.
From downtown, Kotetsu with the lob takes out Frost.
It was pretty impressive.
I believe it, man.
Beautiful mind stuff, right? You see the numbers going up in front of them, and so the Reinhardts are going to say hello to each other once again. But Northern Lights putting up the kills, and the Sea of Blue is showing that they too know how to play Route 66, especially here on the first point. That aggression is strong. Northern Lights going to get this first point pretty easily.
They blazed through that point A take. 1.0, man. A lot of hero swapping coming from the defense, which is totally fine. However, you do have to remember that this is resetting your ultimate economy every single time. And now both of the DPS will be giving up anything that they've earned so far. Horthic, though, Hanzo already paying huge dividends, finds Riverboat.
Yeah, whenever I play Hanzo, I just get killed, so it's always good seeing these Hanzo players doing their work. And Orthic, that hero pool is large. I've been told by my friends to never play Hanzo again, so we'll see how that goes. I'm learning here. I'm learning from Orthic. 11 the POV right now. That scatter arrow is not in the game anymore, so not a lot to learn from that. But the Transcendence is going to come out. Riverboat, once again, showing up on the kill feed way more than anyone else on Northern Lights, but that is your job as McCree, as the Jedi is going to get Scalar as well. They're going to continue pushing this payload. Orthic just going to be as annoying as possible. Riverboat getting the flashbang kill. Always got to point that out.
Nah, man, flashbang, it's just such a feels good. You're like, oh no, I gotta hit the shot right afterwards. Oh no, JK, they already did. So doing half of your work
like
for you over here. Oh, right, yeah. Sometimes you just need the stiff breeze and they just fall over like cordwood. But now Northern Lights setting a very impressive pace over here. Oh, Kotetsu with the sneaky grab. He's gonna drop it right away.
Yeah, sneaky indeed as the rest of Northern Lights follows it up. Love seeing that. And Kotetsu on a 10-player kill streak thus far. Great grab, great streets phase. Northern Lights with almost 5 minutes for the last point here on Route 66.
And, you know, it doesn't matter how difficult this last point is to push. Northern Lights have all of the momentum in the world behind them here coming into this third point. 5 minutes, not a time bank to sneeze at either. And Riverboat, he has been landing shot after shot. And 1Point, they just got to find the answer. They themselves running that double sniper. They got to start clicking some heads here. Brucein, though, with that Graviton Surge could definitely help things out.
Yeah, Riverboat, you know, showing that the thematic choice of character does work out as his home Route 66 is showing him some good kills. But Frost finally 1 point getting the first kill in a fight. Graviton Surge is out. Riverboat is going to take out Frost. Zakor is going to use the res. And we do see the Dragon Surge combo. And 1 point finally, I think for the first time in Route 66, puts up a defense. But 4 minutes is a long haul here on the last point.
Yeah, this is. You're right, Boop. This is actually going to be the first fight they've won since point A. A Horthic, though, great combo right there. They are hungry. Who's they? Bob and Joe, the two dragons. So now that they've eaten, though, Horthic going to swap off onto the Brigida. Always a very good choice when you're coming up against an enemy Brig.
Exactly, and so the Earth Shatter is going to come down, but Kotetsu is going to start off with the kill. So Northern Lights, when they start out with the kill, they usually finish them off, specifically here on Route 66. So some good stuff there. Meza holding on to that Earth Shatter until the Transcendence is over. No one doing damage to him just yet. It's going to hold on to the Transcendence for a better moment because everyone is on the truck on the high ground thus far. Zousa's shield is strong as well. So let's see if he's going to drop this down before he dies. It's going to be a panic. No, he's going to hold on to it. You know, he can because they have a lot more time left in the time bank, but the rest of 1 point is going to put up a defense, and the momentum, I feel it, is starting to shift in the other direction.
That was a beautiful stun from Horthic to delete Meza, who is going in aggressively, trying to get Mazausa to drop the shield for that shatter. So a very good defensive play there from 1 point. But as you said, Boop, there's still time on the clock for Northern Lights, and they got the tools. Diva Self-Destruct into Earth Shatter, still a classic combo that can land. Whereas in the meantime, 1 point is still going to be holding on to that Graviton Surge. But Kotetsu, somebody else is hungry on the side of Northern Lights. Is going to be that Korean Future Vacuum looking to gobble up that grab.
Exactly. But Brucein has been very on point, hasn't had to deal with the Divas very often, but I assume that he's going to be used to it. As the Earth Shatter goes down, and it does get Vanless. Graviton is going to pull them all in as well. Kotetsu is going to use that Self-Destruct to grab 2. So really good ultimate usage there. Northern Lights going to throw down the sound barrier, get 5 out of 5 of who is alive. Northern Lights, this is your shot. This is your opportunity. Don't miss your chance. And so Northern Lights is going to continue moving this payload, but actually really good defense from 1 point as Orthic is now on fire. I believe the rally did go down. Yes, Fat is armored up. So 1 point going to get everybody back. Coalescence going to kill the tire, so that can be a big opening from Northern Lights as well. Graviton Surge coming down from Invision. Are they going to be able to follow that up? The answer is no. No ultimates available on their side to get the kill. So this long extended fight is going to continue to be long as Scalar is going to get Meza after he gets hit against the wall, actually. And now finally 1 point after a long war of attrition, thanks to some spawns and some ultimate usage. 1 point taking the fight. 1 minute and 13 seconds left.
That was a beautiful Earth Shatter from Mazausa. A charge into Meza, 180 Earth Shatter. The stuff of Reinhardt dreams right here. And as you said, Boop, Northern Lights, they expended everything that they had in that extremely long siege battle and still did not come out on top. They are just meters away from potentially taking a map off of 1 point, who have rolled them thus far. They got to go in fast. They got to go in hard. Meza going to have that Earth Shatter once again. Kotetsu going to be looking.
I do not know if they were able to get anybody. No. Let's see if they're going to be able to sludge FC kill. That looked good. From the get-go. 3 kills, 1 on Fat, and another on Scalar. No supports for 1 point. We're not going to count Brigitte right now. Healing is not enough as Kotetsu is going to continue the dominance on that Diva. What a great switch, Ham, as they're giving themselves a chance to take this map. 24 seconds left, but because of those respawns and a good res off of Horthic, 1 point is going to be back in full power. Zakor is going to fall down. Now is also going to get the rest of the kills. Graviton Surge from and vision, though, is going to stop them even more. Riverboat going to get some kills as well. Kills all around. It is a veritable buffet of the kills so far. Self-destruct not going to be as good this time. 3 kills, though. That's hard to follow up. We are in overtime, and the desperation stalls are happening. Now Zaza coming onto the point. No, gets booped away. Round 2 is over. 1 minute on each side of Route 66 on what has been a very even map so far.
Northern Lights certainly waking up here on Route 66. 1-1 now in terms of time bank for both of these teams. So I'm really curious, any kind of crazy strats going to be coming out here? You only have a minute, so you have to recognize that, you know, that's 1, potentially 2 full pushes that you have to take the payload as far as possible. So, I mean, we've seen crazier things, Boop. Bastions on defense, Bastions on attack, Maze, Reapers, you know, Doomfist. Give me some more Doomfist, please. That's my request.
General, like Jeff, can you please get us more Doomfist? And I love that fight to end at the last round. It was so back and forth, a couple of them, and it was so good. Northern Lights, take my energy. You got the last point. Put yourselves in a position to win the map. So, and you know, and opening up with a self-destruct, we saw the POV of it. It went up. I saw where I saw where everyone was, and you just kind of know, right? You press that Q, and you're like, I'm gonna get a bunch of kills.
Yeah, I mean, that was just stellar play. Diva self-destruct are one of those things. It's like a really good pulse bomb. There's just no counterplay. If it's well done, you either die or you don't die. And sometimes, you know, baby Jesus smiles and sometimes he frowns. So Northern Lights, though, going for this sneaky train car defense here. I don't think anybody's found them out quite yet.
Kotetsu is going to get the first kill too. I love this. We saw this on Hanamura yesterday. We're seeing on Route 66 here. Oh, Whipshot can actually knock them off the map. So a lot of ult charge for Orthic. Gonna bring this back out. So a cheeky, cheesy, you know, smelly play. Started off strong, but ended poorly. Starting off with that Orthic Whipshot off of getting the environmental kill on Diva.
Yeah, that was definitely a Gruyere play if we've ever seen one. Northern Lights trying their best. The tables were really flipped on them, basically off the back of great brig play from Horthic. He has now 55% crew to that rally, far ahead of anybody else on his team here. And so now One.PoinT, they're going to be looking to secure at least this first tick. It will be an overtime push, so they can't just be focusing on winning this fight. They got to play the objective as well.
Exactly, but Northern Lights not able to take the high ground on Big Earls here on the defense, and that's going to prove to be kind of difficult for them. So everyone's fighting on the ground level here. No verticality thus far. Riverboat does have a Deadeye. This could be big. A lot of shields on the other side, but no armor for you as you are going to go down with those 2 kills. Northern Lights going to hold One.PoinT at Big Earls and give them a nice shot here at the win. Take my energy. Take my energy.
Northern Lights, you can do it. Check this beautiful play from Riverboat. He has been a revelation on this McCree for the side of Northern Lights. I mean, every time he ults, it's basically just an exercise in me screaming and grunting because it almost always finds at least 1 kill, the crucial kills that Northern Lights need to get. I mean, all they have to do is bring that payload around the first corner, see that golden box of victory, and Northern Lights will have clinched a map win here in this series. Interestingly, though, definitely worth noting that this Route 66 is actually the only map win Northern Lights have to their name. So McCree, Route 66, Rawhide, American Southwest, it all comes together.
Rawhide. You gotta say it that way. You can't just like throw Rawhide in there. You gotta be like Rawhide.
Rawhide.
No, you can do better. Try again.
Oh, dude, I have to save my voice to scream for these high noons, okay?
You gotta do it. You gotta do it one more time.
I'm already giving all of my energy to Northern Lights. Okay, so Rawhide, we'll just leave it.
You're being a party pooper. That's what this
I know. I'm a terrible person.
You're pulling your pants down, squatting, and pooping on this party. There it is. No longer a party pooper. Indeed, you are invited once again. You know,
thank you.
Celebratory Rawhides out there. So Northern Lights gonna need a big attack. So you know, One.PoinT did get that first team fight pretty quickly. Did get 3, but everyone was able to come back and get stopped at Big Earl. So they are gonna go ahead and give them the distance. And you know, length of time it takes to get to Big Earls is about 20 seconds, uncontested. So, at that point, you only need to win one fight. So this could be a really good decision for 1Point to hold all the way back at Big Earls. Some of you might be thinking, oh, why are they giving up all that distance? That is why, because it takes time to get there. Because at this point, one team fight is all Northern Lights is going to get. So this is an all or nothing situation with vanilla Overwatch, no ultimates, just accuracy. And whoever gets the first kill will most likely get the win for this round. So Envision's looking, Brussen's looking for it. Brussen not on Zarya, not on Genji. Envision is going to get that first kill, but I am wrong, guys. Scalar and Horthic, though, are going to be doing their own thing and get 1Point on the board. Oh, man, this is looking bad from Northern Lights. I wish I was right. I wish the first kill was all they needed. Overtime is online, but to no avail as everyone is sprinting onto the point. No one is fast enough, and 1Point gets to the sweep here on a very, very entertaining Route 66, man.
Maximum entertainment to be found. Northern Lights just playing a little bit too passively there on Route 66 for their final round. And so 1Point, they are going to take the reins and hold Northern Lights before that box of victory. So 1Point coming up 4-0. Impressive performance in any right.
Yeah, and so I believe that moves Northern Lights to 0-4 and away from the possibility of going for Contenders. But they did beat a lot of teams coming in here. I know a lot of them are different players now, but they still made it into trials, and that's awesome. And 1Point with that 4-0 sweep, we see it in OWL, we see it in other sports. Getting that sweep in a math differential can spell them being in Contenders or not by the end of next weekend.
I've been really impressed with 1Point. We've been following them ever since, some of those Go4s, some of those Heroes of Anonymous T3 tournaments. Now they've sprouted into this beautiful open division team and now into Contenders trials. I can't wait to see how well they gel moving forward.
Yep, and something that I can't wait for is to hear the wonderful Rook, KT, and Panda break down this game. A lot of things to talk about from Route 66, and one thing I definitely want to hear is things Northern Lights did well, things they can take into the next games and continue improving because they finished off strong. So, KT, what do you think of the games?
Thanks so much, guys. I mean, it was, I feel like in a lot of ways, right, we don't see, 4-0s a lot of times don't do the games justice for how close a lot of these different points were and how close a lot of the fights were. So, I'm kind of torn on this one. I really wanted to see Northern Lights do well, and there were definitely some bright points for Northern Lights throughout that second half. What did you think, though, Panda? Obviously, it wasn't enough.
I mean, they weren't LEDs, maybe more halogens than anything, but they weren't bright enough. Let's put it this way. But at the end of the day,
That's so bad.
I'm sorry. You softballed it in there. What do you want from me? And the one thing I definitely want them to take away here is that yes, all of these fights were very, very close. They were almost right there with it, and to the point that I made at the half, pulling out that macro play. They were really pulling out those mind games, coming true and true. And Route 66 seems to be their name game. If they can pull out stunts like that across the board on every single map, that's a real contending team right there.
Yeah, I mean, this is their, they came through open division, right? They went 10-0. They did well. Northern Lights did 1Point. Coming from kind of the same thing. I feel like we had to have cast those two teams playing against each other. I should have my notes on that, but ultimately, Rook, where was 1Point just better than Northern Lights today?
Well, if the side of Northern Lights are some kind of strange kind of crappy lights, that came out really rude. What I was trying to describe the kind of light that Panda was talking about, then certainly not crappy. We saw some brilliant plays coming out from them on especially that last map. I'm really surprised they didn't take it, actually. I thought it was going to be a 3-1 for them. Anyway, back to 1Point. The entire point of this joke was supposed to be saying that 1Point are a very energy-efficient light bulb because they did really well with their ultimates. And I know we kept on saying that, we kept on talking about how good they are at cycling through and sorting all of that. But that is basically the story. They were just using them very well. In some maps, not very efficiently. For example, we did see 4 ultimates used to win one fight at times. But for most of the time, 1Point were generating it faster, cycling them properly, and just responding very well to what Northern Lights put on the table, even though we saw some really nutty high noons come out from Riverboat on his ancestral home.
Very well. Well, let's talk about MVPs here. Who is your standout player here, Rook? The one that you're going to give that unaffiliated cellular carrier trophy to?
I mean, I have to go that I would give it over to Riverboat from Northern Lights. Even though One.PoinT did win it out, I just loved watching Riverboat play. He was really fun to watch. He did really perform. His team may have gotten 4-0, but it certainly didn't feel like it.
What about you, Panda? Where are you sitting here?
I'm gonna go a little bit more per usual. I'm not gonna throw you guys off for a total loop here, but I'm gonna give the MVP over to Brusen from One.PoinT, really sticking tried and true to sticking with Malzauza on the dives, with Diva, sticking with Zarya. Big Graviton surges coming through. Even the zoning Graviton surge. I mean, we know we talk a lot about big Graviton surges and how there's never any follow-up on it. The one follow-up inside that Graviton surge in this previous map of Route 66 was a capture point. I mean, that is a big brain play from Zarya if I've ever seen one. Not to mention all the flexibility coming out from that player when we were on Junkertown for the triple DPS, swapping off between a multitude of heroes. Big plays, big hero pool, good stuff coming out from One.PoinT altogether.
Awesome.
I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, well, people say that death is the best crowd control. You know, winning the game is a pretty good crowd control because it just ends it all right.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, guys, I do believe it is time for us to get out of here. This has been a really fun day. Early, but fun, with a little bit of Overwatch Contenders trials for the EU region. We're coming back at you tomorrow. I won't be here, but you'll have a new crew. We're going to see Snakes and Morningstar Blue at 2 p.m. CEST. That's 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the U.S., followed by Singularity versus Northern Lights at 4 p.m. CEST. That's 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at twitch.tv/broadcast.gg. By the way, Broadcast.gg, what is it all about? Let me tell you. At Broadcast.gg, we give you resources to grow as a broadcaster, whether it's as a host, analyst, caster, producer. Broadcast.gg has you covered with amazing resources, opportunities to practice, and collaborate with other broadcasters. Make sure to follow the channel right up top. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Broadcast.gg. That's right, spell it out, DOTGG. And of course, click on the panel down below, join Discord, get involved. It's never too late. Definitely do that. My thanks to Blank, Leg Day, Panda, Rook, Ham Tornado, Booposaurus, and our amazing unsung hero producer, Sungkern. Everyone has done an amazing job today. Hope you enjoyed it. Can't wait to see you all tomorrow for more Contenders Trials action.